if you're taking distributions out because you're in retirement, well, now your dollar turned into 50 cents and then you took out 10%. So now you're down to only 40 cents. Well, now you need even more of a return to get your 40 cents back up to a dollar. Have you heard of the 4% rule? Yeah, it's kind of dead. Let me tell you why. It was developed in 1994. The world we are in today in 2026 is nothing like 1994. And it was based off of historical data going back 40 years prior to. So unless you think we're in the same type of investment world and global economy, I'm pretty sure that strategy is not going to apply in the same way to your retirement strategy. I'm Adam Kazinec, Senior Wealth Manager with Convergent Financial Partners. I've been helping individuals retire for almost 20 years. And from my experience, a one-digit distribution rule is not something that you would want to generically apply to your retirement situation if you want it to be successful. So where did the 4% rule come from? Well, it was developed by an economist and some super smart people at the time to basically give a simple way to think about retirement goals. If you had $1 million in a portfolio and you were planning for a 30-year retirement, theoretically the rule says you get $40,000 a year out of that portfolio. The market's going to move up and down as you take the distributions, but there's enough buffer to basically get past the lulls and the dips in the market. And then when the market is up, you're taking only 4%, so you're leaving more in there to continue to grow. But I think we can all agree that we are not in the same market environment or even the same world. Let me give you a frame of reference. 1994 is when Friends debuted. In 1994, guess how many ETFs existed? One. It was called SPDR, S&P 500. Today in 2026, we are looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of 5,000 ETFs just in the United States and closer to probably 17,000 globally. So I'm pretty sure that any of those kind of fundamental rules that were developed in a much simpler global economy are probably not going to be as applicable today. So I can't speak on what every asset manager, financial planner, financial advisor is using out there. But what I utilize today for my clients is a combination of some of the top used strategies and combining them together to create a custom retirement income strategy for my clients. What do I mean by that? Well, I'm going to use the 4% rule as a baseline, right? It gives us a good goal and it gives a great target for all younger savers and investors. If your goal is to say, I'd like to have $80,000 a year in retirement or 100, then you could feasibly say, all right, I'm going to multiply that times 25. And that's how much dollars I need in my nest egg, right? Or you can reverse engineer and basically divide by 4%. But generally, I reach a pivot point with a lot of clients where 4% is not enough income to produce, and maybe they don't want to work an extra 8 years to close the gap, or they don't have control over how their income, how much money they're earning, so they can't just arbitrarily add an extra $20,000 a year to close that gap either. So what have we done in the modern age? Well, we've combined different strategies beyond just a singular 4% distribution rule. We'll add in different product structures. We'll bring in maybe annuities and risk management techniques. We'll segment out your asset buckets to a short-term, middle-term, and long-term strategy so you can maintain a more aggressive allocation for your 20-plus year down the road retirement needs. You'll have a moderate bucket for your 8 to 15-year time span, and you'll have a very conservative, almost cash bucket to spend for the near-term years. These are strategies combined together which allow you to not only get that 4%, but maybe even closer to 6 or 7% income distribution out of your portfolio while also sleeping peacefully at night. Another key component when you're building a retirement plan that really factors into is a single distribution percentage going to work for you is other sources of income. Every household that I sit down with has a different situation. Some maybe have a pension from a prior employer. Some don't have a pension. Some would love a pension and say, tell me how I create one. Some believe that Social Security is going to stay there and the folks in Washington are going to do the right thing. Others think DC can't get anything right and Social Security is going away even faster than the now hypothetical 2032 when the fund goes bankrupt. Who knows what's going to happen? I don't have a crystal ball. If you do, let me know. But when we're building retirement plans that are unique to you, we want to combine these different aspects to understand not only what other sources of income do you have and you're expecting to have, but also where have you saved your money? Are they in taxable accounts? Are they in tax deferred accounts? Or are they in tax-free accounts? Because when you get to retirement and you talk about spending dollars, it's after-tax money that hits your bank account what really matters. It doesn't really matter what it says in the account before the distribution. It matters what's hitting your checking account so you can go out and spend. So to round everything up, let's give you some tangible items to take away. So what really can make a difference is, again, combining different strategies and understanding that a single withdrawal percentage is not going to be successful over the long run with a lot of volatility in the market. I'll give you an example. In 2008, we know that the market took a huge dip, almost down 40, 50%. Well, just a sheer example, if you took $1 and lost 50% of it, we're now at 50 cents. You need 100% return. You need that 50% to double just to get back to your original dollar. Well, if you're taking distributions out because you're in retirement, well, now your dollar turned into 50 cents and then you took out 10%. So now you're down to only 40 cents. Well, now you need even more of a return to get your 40 cents back up to $1. If you follow me on that, essentially what I'm explaining to you is the sequence of returns when you're taking distributions is not the same as dollar cost averaging and adding into the market. It's a slippery slope. If you've ever sat down and talked to me about retirement planning, you'll hear me use the analogy. You never want to climb the mountain until you've determined how you're going to get back down. So it's a combination of where have you saved your funds? How are you going to distribute those to you? What's the tax implications of where you're pulling those dollars out of? What income sources do you have other than your portfolio? All of these things combined are what's going to create your unique distribution percentage and not the arbitrary 4% rule that everybody likes to talk about. So if you're interested in getting a customized retirement strategy and understanding your psychology of money when it comes to your retirement plan, use the link below. Let's schedule some time. You can take my no obligation free assessment and understand how do you think about money and what should your retirement plan look like.
The future's looking bright.